What's up, everybody out there in YouTube? I'm out here in Moreno, California. Moreno Valley, California. Guess update on the Brough Performance h2b kit. I installed it a while back. I just haven't made a video of it. I guess issues and certain things you might have to do to get it in your EK. I didn't have any issues putting in the motor. It actually slid in pretty easy, and it bolted on pretty easy. That was pretty cool. I thought I was gonna have more issues with that, but everything bolted on just fine. You can't really see that. The only issues I ran into when I was putting my intake manifold in is, well, if you're going to use the original OEM fuel rail, you're going to have to either customize a fuel line that runs to the other side, or you can just buy an aftermarket and run the fuel line with like the AEM fuel rail. You can make it over here, and you can run the OEM fuel filter. But the other issue that you might have with that, and the reason I had to switch mine to this side, two reasons. One, because of the fuel rail. I'm using OEM fuel rail, and two, if you're using this type of intake manifold, you might have a run, because this is I believe the 3-piece intake manifold. I noticed that when I installed the intake manifold, this filter was in the way. Let me see if I can install it. Okay. See that? So if I put the throttle body here, it's going to be sticking out to about here. This thing is going to get in my way. So either way, I had to remove this. And that's already off. So I had to remove that to make room for the throttle body. Plus you got the intake. Since I'm running turbo, it doesn't really matter, intake, turbo, no intake. The intake has to run through, and with that filter was going to get in the way. So I had to remove that. The other issue was, since I took that out, I had to do a whole new fuel line. So I went and bought a Russell's fuel filter and some fuel fittings. It's a 6AN plus the banjo, and I'm glad I did it. It wasn't that expensive. It was about 55 bucks, give or take a few dollars, for the whole setup. You got the compression fitting, the filter, and the 2 female fittings, plus a little piece of hose, 6AN for hose, and the banjo. And all of that was about 55, give or take a few dollars, which was, I thought, was pretty good, because it looks cleaner. I guess it would be like what you call fuel tuck, I think. And it's a shorter run. Plus with this, you'll be able to add more fuel to it if you need it, if you run turbo. Another problem I had is the brake lines. The brake lines, they sit up here. With this intake manifold, I could not install it, because that was in the way. It was hitting the hoses. I thought I was gonna have to redo the whole brake lines and everything, but I didn't have to do any of that. I just unbolted it and bent everything down, and I zip tied it. If you're doing this, you don't have to zip tie it. You can find a way to bolt it on somewhere, because you got these other little things you could probably use. But since it's in the back, I don't really care. The zip ties is holding it down. I just put extra zip ties on it. Hopefully it should be okay. And just that little bit of a bend was enough to put the intake manifold in. So that might be some issues, unless you use a different intake manifold, or if you use a K series you go, you know, H2K, I guess. It should clear it. You probably don't even need to remove the fuel filter. But since I'm using this, because I ended up taking this apart and porting it all out inside. So that's why I'm going to be using this. Yeah, that's as far as I know, that might be some issues if you're going to be using the OEM intake manifold. But as far as putting the engine in, it fit in just perfect. Bolt slid in, bolted on just fine. It's a little snug. It's a little tight, but I plan on taking the plastic off anyways.